Well, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited that you're here. And if this is your first time, yay. And if this is not your first time, yay. So listen, I've been doing a lot of talking about being empowered, and a lot of it has focused on love, relationships, life in general. So I thought it was time that perhaps we talk about being empowered at work. Want to talk about it? I think we need to. My name is 𝘃𝗵𝗶𝘀, and yes, I am still your favorite empowerment coach. And today we're going to talk about 5 things that your team may need, but they're not asking you for. And so this particular video is expressly for owners as well as leaders who are trying to figure out, okay, what is going on with my team? And even if your team is doing great work, I'm going to go ahead and challenge you to look at these 5 things as possibilities for greater productivity and hitting their goals. Wouldn't that be amazing? So listen, if you like the video thus far, make sure that you at least click the like, because that to me is like saying thank you for making the video. And as we get into this, if you feel like you want to see more content, make sure that you subscribe and that you tap that bell. All righty, so 5 things that your team needs but is not asking you for. The first thing I want to give you is time to regroup mentally. I know that we all have acknowledged to some degree that the last 2 to 3 years have been really trying. And we are seeing a lot of people who are leaving their jobs, the great resignation, if you will. But we're seeing people who are also keeping their jobs. However, they're coming back to work, if they're coming back to the building, or they're coming into this particular season of work different, very different. They've had experiences they never thought they would have. I think that they may have lost people or even lost contact with people. And some people are definitely grieving those losses. And to that end, it becomes important that time to regroup mentally during the workday is a thing, that they take the time to say, okay, not only am I taking a lunch, but I'm taking a break. And you, as the leader or the owner of the company, I would really like to see you support them in that. I'd really like to see you make that a part of the corporate policy so that people do not feel as if they're not being productive when they take a 15-minute break, or if they take 2 minutes to meditate at their desk, or if they go for a walk. I need you as the leader to set the example and create the culture that supports this type of behavior, because what we know, and there are numerous studies that support, is that when people are operating in a mindful state, which they often cannot do when they are so mentally drained, if they're operating in a mindful state, then they can be more productive. They really can. All right. Okay. What is the next thing that they want? You're probably not going to like this. Less work. See, probably unbeknownst to you as an owner or a leader, some of your team members do not carry their weight. Sorry, I just had to say it. They're not carrying their weight. And so many of the other team members have picked up the slack. I remember when I was in grad school, and for those of you who don't know, I have 2 graduate degrees, one in business, one in Christian leadership. And then I also have a plethora of certifications. And I'm also a former college professor teaching business and management for 11 years. So I'm not just speaking to you as someone who used to have a job and now this is what I would hope would happen. I'm speaking to you as someone who has done research, who has worked within different teams, who has also coached various teams, and that this is happening. People need less work because more than likely they are picking up the slack of coworkers and other team members who are not doing their part. And they're not going to tell you this. Many of them have been programmed and socialized to just get it done. But what they're not telling you is that it is taking a toll. If you're looking at a particular member of your team and that person is not exactly like they used to be, maybe they're quieter, maybe their demeanor is a little more reserved than it used to be, it's a very good possibility that they're overworked and that they're trying very hard to not be burned out and to not exact their really poor attitude and poor morale onto the other team members. This is a time for conversation. How is your workload? Is it working for you? Now, of course, we don't want people saying, well, Bob over in accounting is not doing his part. Okay. But however, if Bob is not doing his part and April is doing 4 parts that Bob is not doing, plus the 6 parts that she's assigned to, that's a lot. That's more than what she signed up for. But oftentimes, especially women in the workplace, they will take on more. They're getting paid less anyway. That's a different video. But they will take on more. They will cover for Bob because maybe they really like Bob. And maybe we know that Bob is going through some challenges. But if you really want to know, I suggest that you ask. All right. Next thing, more support. I started off this video saying that many of your team members need time to regroup mentally. As the leader, as the owner, it is incumbent upon you to set the example. Over the last few years, we have seen hustle culture be canceled. Even in my entrepreneurial pursuits, in the early 90s, I would say through the 2000s, there was this attitude of team no sleep and hustle culture, which means basically you get up in the morning and you hustle and hustle and hustle and no breaks and no time off and you just go, 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 go. And here's the thing. That does not work long term. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Human resources. We have to respect the human. We have to understand that the money and the revenue and the profitability of the business is inherently connected to the minds and the bodies of those who are bringing those goals to pass. And they need more support. They need for it to be okay for them to take care of themselves during the workday. During the workday, again, time to regroup mentally, having less work. They need more support. And not only that, they may actually need more team members. Just because somebody can carry the load doesn't mean that it's not heavy. Many team members have been working without an assistant and they need one desperately, but they're not going to tell you that. And they may not tell you that because perhaps the culture in your organization is of such that you just deal with it. Whatever happens, you just deal with it. And I'm going to say to that, that's not valuing the human resources. It's not. It's not valuing the human resources. And when you don't value the human resources, there's fallout for that. There's absolutely fallout for that. So in those conversations where you're trying to determine if the workload is appropriate, if someone is overworking or overperforming because other team members are not carrying their weight, perhaps it's also time to ask the question, hey, do you need an assistant? Do you need an intern? Can we restructure your job and your responsibilities in a way that you will give more? I know many of you saw the story about the CEO who decided to pay all of his employees, I believe it was a minimum of $70,000 a year. It absolutely transformed the culture. Am I saying that you need to pay your individuals and your team members more? You may need to, but I didn't necessarily put that into this particular video. I think what a lot of workers are looking for, team members are looking for, leaders are looking for is more support, to know that they're supported in the needs that they have. To know that they don't have to push a need to get off early or to come in later. Know that they don't need to push that to the back burner because it's not in alignment with corporate culture. Listen, the corporation is nothing without the human resources that are making it happen. And that leads me to my next one. Approved boundaries. And that is what I was just talking about a moment ago. In the more support vein, approved boundaries. Well, what does that mean? What's an approved boundary? Approved boundaries are when people need to go away for a moment, like they need to take a moment away from the desk. That needs to be okay. Or if they need to leave early, that needs to be okay. See, ultimately, and I saw a study about this as well, working from home has been a bit of a snitch, if you will. That's the word I'm going to use. It's been a tattletale. And it's tattletaling because now you're seeing who's actually turning in work, who's kind of riding the clock. You're starting to see and understand who is actually doing the work. And here's the thing. There's a funny thing that happens when people believe that someone is vested in their success, when it becomes okay for them to satiate their needs, even when they're at work. They actually do more. They will actually do more. Now, listen, let me be honest with you. There's always going to be some slacker in the group that's probably going to take advantage. And when you see that happening, if that's emerging as a pattern of behavior, then you as the owner, the leader, then you do what you need to do. But you're not going to create a team of slackers simply because you're allowing them to get off early when they need to get off early, to come in later when they need to come in later. What we used to call it is flex time. When I worked for the Girl Scouts, we had flex time because often we would have later meetings. And so an 8-hour day from 9 to 5 just didn't make sense. So if you're beholden to an 8-hour day for your team, maybe consider making it flexible. Maybe consider going to a 4-hour work week. I don't know if you know this, but when people have less time, those who are committed to the goal, they will actually do more. They will meet the goal. Most people, ask your team, most people don't need 5 days to get anything done. Your rock star team members are probably done with the things that they need to do by Tuesday or Wednesday. And so in approving the boundaries, and what I mean, I'm not talking about them filling out a form and waiting for someone to approve their time off. I'm saying that it is approved, it is known, it is supported, that you can set boundaries at work, that you can say, no, I actually can't take that task on, that you can say, no, I actually can't head up that initiative, that you can say, no, I actually need to leave at 2 today. And that's okay. Lastly, public celebration of contributions. Many of your team members, they love the work that they do at your organization. They do. They love it. And many of them have beautiful skill sets that you don't even know about. And I know this from personal experience. I had so many skill sets as a professor that I was not being celebrated for. I was using all of them though. And so when you see team members that are going above and beyond, that have skill sets that could actually help the team, think about this. What if you have a team member who is madly in love with yoga and meditation? Maybe they could bring that to the team. Maybe we could do that during a retreat. Maybe we could do that at the beginning of a team meeting. And then I want you to celebrate these contributions, these non-traditional contributions. Don't just give them a pen for being there for 5 years, but celebrate the fact that this individual created an entire mindfulness program to help their fellow team members be more centered during the day. Again, mindfulness and productivity go hand in hand. What if you have a team member that absolutely loves crochet or absolutely loves social media, but that's not in their job description? Well, could it be? Some of you are leading and own organizations that are small and nimble. Bravo. That means that you can transform and you can expand and you can contract as you need to. Some of you are watching this and you're a part of larger organizations and may take a little bit more red tape. What I'm saying to you is that make sure that you're clear on the bevy of gifts that your people bring to the table. And if they're using those gifts, or if you see that those gifts could be meaningful to the team, let's not only use them, but let's celebrate that. Let's celebrate people that are going above and beyond. Let's not make it okay that you just do your job and go home. As I said before, many people are working and they have a great deal of stress upon them. They're trying to balance home. Maybe their children did not go back to school. Maybe they have sick relatives. Maybe they have sick parents. Maybe they have sick neighbors. Outside of work, many things are happening. And as interesting as it might be to say, and it used to be the thing, leave your problems at the door. Nobody's doing that. People are carrying their frustrations within. They're mourning, they're grieving, still haven't reclaimed a sense of normalcy. Maybe they really hate wearing a mask, whatever it is. And so you, as the owner and the leader, you have some amazing possibilities to celebrate these individuals and to make it okay for them to advocate for themselves. Self-love in the workplace. Self-love and self-care in the workplace. That's a novel thought. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. My name is 𝘃𝗵𝗶𝘀. I am a speaker, teacher, author, and a coach, here to remind you to always be your own superhero and to thank you guys so much for loving and learning and considering these 5 things with me. Have a beautiful day and see you on the next video.